Can food be pro-war?
Can food be pro-war? So this is a reference to Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's have renamed the chicken Kiev in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. They're changing the spelling of the word Kiev. So it was obviously K-I-E-V, which is how it's spelled in Russian, to K-Y-I-V, which I think we're meant to say Kyiv now. So chicken Kyiv sounds a bit too much like chicken Keith.
It's also breaded. It's breaded, and I have been battling with breaded food for years.
Well, there's too many carbs.
Well, I swear to God, it's a war for me. I wouldn't go near it.
What do you think, Nick?
I have many thoughts on this, and they're all very reactionary. What it is...
That's why you're here.
So this is ridiculous, because the problem with this is we're going to have to rename everything. Do we rename everything for our allies? So is Paris now Paris? And then it's like, why is Beijing instead of Peking? You can actually go back and trace that. I mean, originally, Peking did come from some French people, so it is suspect. But we were calling it Peking for a long time. The New York Times, the commie New York Times, switched in 1986 to Beijing, and then the BBC followed in 1990. The Times still called it Peking until 1997, when the Chinese Foreign Ministry said, you've got to change it. So we actually backed down and changed it because of a threat. So it's a strange mixture of cozying up to China and sort of weakness. And so you go, well, why do we... But then we have to go through and analyse everything. We don't say Moscow, how the Russians say it. No. So we're now going to have to go through making statements based on how we say the names of things, which I don't think is practical. And secondly, and lastly, I think that... it's part of this weird hysteria that you've sort of mentioned in your introduction. Meerkats being banned, Disney cartoons being banned. Now we're getting Russian Formula One drivers banned, singers are banned. And I just think it's part of that hysteria, not that useful. Then again, I am a Russian spy, so I would say that.
You would say that. That's why you're being paid.
Yeah.
The thing about this is I do worry about it, not because I care particularly about what you call a chicken Kiev, right? I don't care about that. Or whether you can get a White Russian, although it is a delicious drink.
Fantastic.
What I would say about all this is that it's kind of reminiscent a little bit about the Second World War, when, I don't know if you know about this or if you recall, people were killing Dachshunds on the street. People were stamping sausage dogs to death because they were German. And so it's this kind of, when it tips over into this sort of outright xenophobia is what makes me nervous.
And it reminds me slightly of the AIDS epidemic, when people were chasing down and killing gay men in the streets because they thought they were going to be killed by them.
So it's just thinking of people as a group, you know, and everyone's all the same, you know, so that is a bit of a worry.
And also, the Russian culture is so grand and fantastic, and it's not dubious at all. You have to separate politics from people. I'm from the U.S., so believe me, I'm aware of that.
You really have to do that.
I mean, I voted for Trump, but I'm not like him at all in any way. I just felt prettier than him, so I wanted to be the stronger one. It's really strange, though, when they start chasing around little bits and pieces because they think they're going to fix it. You're not going to change anything by doing that.
Well, how does taking Dostoevsky off a course help?
Yeah, that bothered me. Apparently, they claim they never took him off. They delayed it by a couple of weeks to be sensitive.
But they
which
always
is bizarre anyway.
I
know, it's ridiculous. He's my favourite writer, practically. It's ridiculous. Go on.
They cancelled a film adaptation of a Dostoevsky novel on Netflix.
It's absurd. What you have now is you have the actual event, which is the war in this case, and then it's refracted through the culture war, which, as you know, which is what this show is all about. Everything becomes a culture war. So there's always...
But this is why we talk about it, because the thing about the culture war is that people keep saying it's just on the sidelines, it's just a few maniacs on Twitter. But those maniacs on Twitter have an effect on everything else, on geopolitics, on the way that the elections are won and lost on the basis of this culture war. So it is kind of important.
And that's where I get suspicious, where you can't have... Once it gets into that culture war binary, you can't have a nuanced view. It's Brexit, then it's pro or anti-vax. Now it's Russian apologist, or, you know, you've either got 8 Ukraine flags or you love Putin. That's...
I mean, that's fine.
Part of me thinks that people use this subject matter to promote themselves, like Smirnoff Vodka probably thought a great promotional tool would be to pour it down the drain and look what we're doing, and then we'll sell. In the end, it's about money for them.
Maybe. I mean, that's an interesting one, because Smirnoff is quite clear. I know the origins are from Russia, but quite clearly it's a Russian-themed drink. Right. It's not at all a Russian company. So, you know, this is... Maybe it's a way that they do that.
Suddenly I think they're just promoting their brand. I know it sounds cynical, but
maybe. I mean, I'm just worried about not being able to have a White Russian. I mean, they just are a fantastic drink. There's always Bloody Marys, I suppose.